Caroline, what is living a memorable life to you? This was your question.
It was my question. To me, doing things that I love and doing things that I want to do, not because someone is telling me to do it or because I have to. So, I think living a memorable life, just like getting out of your comfort zone, like stop being so scared to do something that you kind of want to do, but you feel like, oh, I can't do that. Just do it. Like, what is there to lose? Life is so short. You are not entitled to tomorrow. So you might as well do whatever you want, no matter if people are judging you or if it's not the norm. Just do it because you want to do it.
What's a memorable life to you, Jocelyn?
Adventure, definitely. And especially if it's living an adventure with the people you love and care about. Because
Like
doing
what
so
what kind of
can,
adventures? What's an adventurous life to you that gives meaning?
uh, something that gives me memories. I make memories, whether it be traveling, whether it be making friends, going to school and studying, just little things like that, and especially even the big things too, for it makes life memorable. Sometimes, like when it comes to stuff like that, at the moment, you don't really think much of it, but it isn't until years later on in life you think about those times and it's like, you know,
Life's really about accumulating a lot of great memories. That's how I've always looked at it. It's like especially when you look back as you get older, that's all you really have is you have the memories of those experiences and those people and the things you did, the places you traveled to, the fun, the laughter, and like what happens when you get together with old friends. You
Yeah.
usually talk about things you used to do in the past. Like I get together with my high school buddies, and we usually end up talking about high school stuff, even though that happened 30 years ago. At this point, we still those memories are fresh there, and you appreciate it more as you get older
and
too.
it feels just like yesterday too, which is the crazy part.
Yeah, the mind doesn't know the difference between now or the past or the future.
Yeah, we lose track of time. Well, but for good reason, you know?
Like a college tailgate.
Yeah.
That's an adventure. I went for my first time last Saturday and I loved it. It's an experience, just like the movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gracie was at a tailgate a couple weeks ago, and she was telling Jen that she's like, "I'm having the best time I've ever had in my life."
I feel like everyone needs to experience a tailgate in their life.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that. It's so cool to see her and her progression and how she changed from like February of earlier in the year to now and where she is and how much fun she's having. It's cool to see somebody that I've known since she was like this big
Mm.
grow up and be excited about her life and excited about her future and what she's doing and being able in some small part to have
Yeah.
an influence on that. Like that's what gives meaning to me. I mean, when you look at like the six human needs, you've got certainty, variety, significance, love and connection, spiritual growth, and contribution. And so when you focus on contribution, and I learned this from Tony Robbins many years ago, contributing to other people, it's like you fulfill all of your other needs. You fulfill your need for certainty, because especially like in my case, being a life coach and being able to impart the wisdom and things I know on somebody like Chunky, Gracie, and now you girls and Jen or oldest daughter and my other friends and see, or even my dad back when he was single before he got married, teaching him how to get back in the dating scene after basically being with my mom since he was in high school and teaching him those things and seeing him do well, find love again, get married, kind of live happily ever after. It's that gives me personally gives meaning when I see other people prospering and doing well because of either something I did, something I said, or a book I wrote, or a video that I wrote, or I mean it's just all day long that the emails come in and guys are talking about how, or women for that matter, talking about how my work has changed or impacted their life. And so when whatever you do in life, if you could focus on contributing to other people, you fulfill all your needs for certainty, variety, because obviously variety is something different. Love and connection, you get to bond and connect with other people. You get spiritual growth because you grow as a human being. So you fulfill all 6 of the needs by focusing on doing things for other people. It's
Yeah.
very rewarding.
Made mine sound a little bit selfish because I was mentioning make yourself happy, do what you want to do, but
Well, you got to
know.
make yourself happy first because you can't give away what you don't have for yourself. If you're not happy, enjoying your life, loving your life, if you're single, spending time alone and really having a great time by yourself, you're not going to be good company. Because people that go through life, and especially people that are single now, they think, oh, once I get a new girl, or if it's a woman thinks, once I get a new boyfriend, then I'm going to be happy. But if they're not already happy, if you can't have fun by yourself, at some point in the relationship, you're going to recognize that that person's really not the source of your happiness. You're the one that's labeling the things that are happening in your life as good or positive or great. And then once you realize that that other person's not making you happy, then you revert back to the fact that you're still not happy. And then what happens then is then you no longer make the effort. It's like, what's the point of making the effort to make my significant other feel loved and special and important?
Yeah.
Because they're not making me happy.
It's like
so, and then the relationship spirals out of control because it all boiled down to the fact that they weren't happy. They weren't good company for themselves. So you got to get to a happy place first. I actually did a video talking about that last week, is that you got to get to a happy place first before you get into a relationship. Because otherwise you're showing up kind of being an energy vampire. You're looking for the other person, someone outside of yourself, to be your reason for happiness. And, people never live up to your unreasonable expectations or your relationship fantasy.
Yeah.
And if you put your happiness dependent on them feeling a certain way about you or doing a certain thing or showing up in your life a certain way and they don't, then you're not going to be happy. But if you can get to a place where you enjoy just getting up and doing whatever it is that you do on a daily basis, you're going to be a lot happier.
Yeah, state of mind is everything. It makes a huge difference.
It's like Will Smith said with his marriage, he went through that whole rocky road with, forgot her name.
Jada Smith,
the whole cheating scandal. He said, you can't expect someone else to bring happiness that's not already in you. Like, you need to be happy with yourself and be able to make yourself happy before you can make anyone else happy. Because in the end, you're just going to drain yourself and you're going to exhaust yourself making someone else feel good when you don't even feel good. So
yeah, you can only do it for so long because there's no enthusiasm there for it.
Yeah, that's when fights start happening. You get aggravated with your significant other because you're like, you want what you're giving them, but you're not getting it. So always, before getting in a relationship or anything like that, make sure you are content with yourself and you have your own, self-identity.
What was the deal with that? Didn't she hooked up with some other guy or was dating some other guy, or they split up and she got with somebody else right away? I remember seeing some drama on Twitter about that because people have been asking me, what do you think about Will Smith and Jada? I was like, I don't really know enough about it.
She was cheating on him throughout the marriage because she wasn't happy anymore and they were having trouble. So she was talking to a younger guy, I believe.
Yeah.
Much younger guy who was something related to them. I think he produced something in movies.
Oh, another musician or somebody probably.
Something like that. And he knew him and they would lie and say they were not.
So he stayed with her?
Yeah.
I think they're together.
I mean,
I believe they're still together.
Yeah.
They worked it out and she left the other guy.
For now. Yeah, what did... I know the audience has been going, she belongs to the streets. I mean, at the end of the day, once a cheater, always a cheater. If she made the vows and didn't keep it, she doesn't value them. And if you take her back, then you're enabling the behavior. You're saying it's okay. I don't know if he was cheating on her or was just strictly her screwing around on him, but...
There's scandals he was flirting around with Miss... what's her name? Harley Quinn, the actor for Harley.
Margot Robbie?
I believe so.
Mm-hmm. She was the one that played Harley Quinn in Suicide Squad. It's Margot Robbie.
Yeah, there was a scandal with them too. So he's no saint himself,
So they're not really staying together because they want to be together. They've created a story around that.
I'm not gonna. This is an assumption, okay? There's no facts. I just think it's probably for the children. You know, they've been married for how long? Very long time.
Very long time.
Yeah, the kids are grown though, but you know,
Yeah.
it's like, how does it serve the children to stay in a loveless marriage when you're not happy?
It only leads to more frustration.
Yeah, because then the kids are gonna grow up and just follow what the parents are demonstrating, as opposed to them going and finding happiness with somebody else. Because if you love somebody, you want them to be happy, even if it's not with you.
Absolutely. You know, it does affect the kids. Like, you have to teach them that sometimes in life, you know, you're going to go through these hard situations where it's going to be very difficult to figure out what you're going to do next. But sometimes you have to go over those hurdles. Eventually, you know, the pain is temporary. Eventually, you know, once you feel more stability in that sense, you're going to, you know, it's a decision, you know, you made the right decision once you get to that point when you realize it, you know? So
I
that
think,
kind of frustration, not a good idea.
I think they're just comfortable, so why end the marriage if they've been together for so long?
Yeah, I mean, comfort is good, but when it really affects you, like,
Not in that term,
like
you
it
know?
really drives you insane. At least that's how I see it.
I just look at that, and it's just so many people are trying to have the one size fits all kind of relationship and stay with one person forever. It's like, you know, people are like, why haven't you got married, Corey? It's like, I don't see the point in it. I believe we have multiple soulmates. I believe that we have lots of people that come into and out of our lives over the course of our lives. And it's like, if you look at the numbers, how many people are really happy they've been together for a long time? I mean, we already know the divorce rate's over 50%.
Mm-hmm.
And out of, you know, the people that are actually married and stay married, how many of them are fit, in shape, or having fun? I mean, all you got to do is walk outside and just look at couples interact with one another. I mean, half the time these days you look and you see a couple at another table, and what are they doing? They're both on their cell phones, not even paying attention to each other, and they're both overweight, out of shape, probably haven't had sex in years. And it's like, that's not a sign of success to me. To me, relationships are not a game of survivor who can stay the longest. It's like, if it's working for you and you're both happy and you're teammates and you're meeting each other's needs and you're loving and you're giving unconditionally, because love is an act, that's one thing, but that's not most people's situation. I get a lot of shit for it, but I mean, if the way people were trying to fit into that one size fits all, I mean, there are couples that they're very rare that do meet, like when they're in high school or even when they're kids growing up, and they just love each other and they're together forever. And even when they're 90 years old, they're all over each other and they can't stand to be apart for a second. But that's the exception to the rule, and that is not the experience that most people have.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone has their different walks of life. You know, you can't always compare yourself to, say, high school sweethearts. Everyone else has their different paths of life. You know, you do you, and eventually you'll find that person that best meshes with you and connects with you pretty well. Like, again, life isn't a race. Like, you'll find the person that matches with you well. And once you do, it'll be
for that
worth
period
it.
of time.
Yeah.
For that decade or those few years or few months or few nights for that matter.
Yeah. What I can say is there's how many, like 2 billion people in the world?
It's like, what is it, 7.5 billion now?
7.5
almost
billion?
8?
7.7.
So
maybe I'm too exact, but I'd say around 7 billion.
Trust me,
You got a lot of
Stay
choices.
safe.
your soulmate is not in the state that you grew up in, okay?
I don't believe in a soulmate. I believe in soulmates. I've had that experience, soulmates. But you're still pretty young, so.
Yeah. Because I feel like people get so, like...
That's the one-itis.
Yeah, like...
the one perfect person, they're going to change my life forever.
Like, I thought I wasn't going to find anyone special because in South Florida, you know, it's such a small town where everyone kind of knows each other. And it's like, I don't like any of the guys here. They're terrible. And I'm like, oh my God, like, am I ever going to meet someone? And, you know, TikTok made me find someone.
Yeah, she met her current boyfriend on TikTok.
Yeah, he lives in a different state, far from here, you know. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
So your soulmate is not.
It goes back to everything.
You believe he's your soulmate now?
Maybe.
Goes back to everything happens for a reason. So.
Yeah.
Can't really limit yourself, you know.
Don't. Yeah. They can be in Paris right now. My husband
Who
could be in
knows?
Paris right now. You never know.
Caroline's got a little bit of one-itis. The one perfect person.